Hello and welcome to another episode of the UCLA Bruins Insider Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Connor Moreno, lead writer for UCLA Bruins on SI. And today is Monday. The day I'm recording it is Monday. UCLA just came back from Week 5, which was their fourth consecutive loss of the season, remaining winless through 4 games after they lost 17-14 to Northwestern. So today I thought we would kind of update you guys on kind of what's going on around UCLA in terms of just some takeaways from the game, what I see, where I think UCLA can move forward from the Northwestern game, even though it's not looking too great. And then just wanted to talk about the updated AP Top 25 and where UCLA's remaining opponents are on that ranking and how it affects the season moving forward. So without delaying any further, I think we should definitely get into some takeaways I had from UCLA's 17-14 loss against Northwestern. I write about it every week. I kind of pick out 3 bold observations, kind of get a little bit, dramatic about it, but I mean, I don't think you can fault me for being too dramatic about how this season has turned out for UCLA. UCLA, they lost 17-14 to Northwestern. They were down 17-0 ahead of a field goal ahead of halftime. They came back 17-14, but their final drive, of course, proved to be ineffective. So the first takeaway that I had is that UCLA's defense was absolutely trampled by Northwestern's running game. Their running backs may have been lathered in grease. I mean, this is the same phrase I used when they lost to Utah, because UCLA's defense simply could not tackle. They could not stop the run game. The Wildcats, their running backs would go like 5 to 10 yards on a handoff without, ever being touched. They would get 5 to 10 yards beyond the line of scrimmage before they were even tackled, which turned into easy yardage every drive. Excuse me. And that was the reason why Northwestern can not only extend drives, but they could keep the time of possession in their favor. It's been a common pain point for UCLA all season. The Bruins simply cannot stop the run. It's only going to get worse this season, though, because Northwestern, and I'm going to talk about it plenty of times, Northwestern was easily their best chance at getting a win, and you better believe that they're going to be playing a lot more talented running backs moving forward. Number 2, I wanted to kind of question how much blame should be put on Nico Iamaleava. I mean, obviously, he hasn't performed as well as we all thought he would in UCLA, but there are some I would say situations maybe that can go in his favor, some excuses, if you will. But I mean, overall, UCLA's offense has been one of the toughest watches all season. Part of it is because Nico Iamaleava, simply he's underperformed. But how much of it is really his fault? For starters, he can't go more than 2 snaps without being pressured. I mean, I think he's still one of the top pressured quarterbacks in all of college football. UCLA's offensive line is just being absolutely brutal this season. Not to mention, there are. Sorry, I don't know why I'm yawning. Not to mention, the offensive line not only is struggling at keeping Nico out of pressure, but there's always these constant false starts and offensive penalties that just kill momentum every single drive. That's become a common theme this season. It doesn't happen too often, but UCLA's receivers do tend to fail to create some open space. It doesn't happen too often, but the times that it does, you see Nico rolling out, he's going to have to end up rushing, and it just turns to like a 1 to 2 yard gain every time. And by the time he has to scramble, by the time he has to escape the pocket, by the time he has to start creating for himself, opposing defenders are already, have him surrounded. So it's just not this. I mean, I will say this, though. Iamaleava simply hasn't been good as advertised. He's often over or underthrowing receivers. It's been happening all season through 4 games. Sometimes makes the wrong read on RPOs, or he'll just completely avoid a check down and rush for just a handful of yards. I don't think he deserves all the blame, but he certainly hasn't been the perfect quarterback. And the last takeaway I had was that UCLA's odds of going 0-12 this season, going winless, are growing after the Northwestern game. Northwestern was not only a great opportunity to start the Tim Skipper era, off right, but it was also a must-win. And I know every game is a must-win, but Northwestern was a must-win. Because the Wildcats are arguably UCLA's easiest conference opponent, and they floundered to them. They folded. A loss puts the Bruins' odds at finishing 0-12 much higher. And it doesn't start easy. Number 7 in the nation, Penn State, is going into the Rose Bowl on Saturday, and it's not going to be looking good at all for UCLA. So those were my 3 takeaways I had for the Northwestern game. And so I wanted to go into the top 25 because UCLA's opponents, they've been regularly in the top 25, but this week we had some big risers and we had a pretty big faller. But yeah, number 1, of course, still is Ohio State, top team in the nation. They remain undefeated. They took down Washington 24-6 this week to open up their Big Ten conference play. They're showing no signs of slowing down. They have Minnesota this week, and then they have Illinois after. And they take on UCLA in a few weeks. They obviously did not change at all. They remain number 1. But Penn State, they went down 4 spots from number 3 to number 7. They were outmatched against their first real big test of the season, which was Oregon. They lost 30-24 in overtime. Nonetheless, though, UCLA is just going to absolutely be overwhelmed and have their hands full this Saturday at the Rose Bowl. And then we have Indiana, who is continuing to rise. They've continuously risen every single week. They're at number 8, up 3 from number 11 in the nation. They keep rising as one of the nation's best teams. They defeated Iowa, and they rose from number 11 to number 8. As I said, the Bruins now have 3 remaining opponents in the top 10 of AP's top 25. 3 top 10 opponents that they have to look forward to the remainder of the season. Another big dropper, and something that maybe UCLA fans can be happy about, is that USC dropped out of the top 25. They were number 31 technically, getting 22 votes. They lost. They were kicked out. They lost the matchup to Illinois, number 21 to number 23. They lost 34-32 on a game-winning field goal. Obviously, you can expect the Trojans to recover, and by the time that they play them again on Week 14, the final game of the season, you could definitely expect USC to be ranked again. Lastly, something interesting to watch. Maryland, they were projected to be a lot worse than UCLA entering the season, but they are receiving some top 25 votes. They have 7 votes, which puts them at 32, right behind USC. They did have a bye this week, but last week they were one of the biggest stories when they took down Wisconsin to open up conference play. They play against UCLA in Week 8. Going into the season, you thought that was a guaranteed win. It's in the Rose Bowl, but it might even look as a pinned-in loss for UCLA, just given how everything is transpiring this season. But yeah, that's all we had for the top 25 and for the takeaways. This week we're going to get into prep on Penn State. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to the UCLA Bruins Insider Podcast. We'll see you tomorrow.